Hey, welcome back to the Box Office Dynasty. You know who we are. I'm Josh.
And I'm Jack.
And you know what, folks? We got another banger for you today. That's
Yeah,
right.
we do.
It wouldn't be the Box Office Dynasty if we didn't have bangers in store, and that's what
Now
we
coming
have
out
for
on
you.
Wednesdays.
Yes, now coming out on
Happy
Wednesdays.
Wednesday,
This
everybody.
is it's Hump Day, so we're hoping to help you get through the rest of your week here.
That's what we do.
But here we go. We have a lot for you, everybody. We have the Bible study segment. We're going to be reviewing our third Bible study movie, which is Get Out. Very excited to talk about that. Jack has a new segment he's introducing today called Verses, or at least that's the running name for now. But
The working title. Yeah.
we are excited to see what that's all about. We're going to go over the box office numbers, and then a bunch of new movies came out we're going to talk about. Run down the line here. Ballerina, Materialists, The Life of Chuck, and Predator, Killer of Killers. So a lot of new stuff. It's summer, folks. And you know what? This is one of the busiest times of the year when it comes to movie releases. So a lot for us to dive in. We have some news that we're going to get into, things going on around the industry. And of course, we're going to, at the tail end of this, celebrate Father's Day a little late here by ranking our top 5 television dads. So we have a lot in store, packing a punch for you, and I think we should just get right into it. Real quick, I wanted to honor actually Brian Wilson. I know this is a film podcast and television, but Brian Wilson is culturally relevant. Like we talk about some
We span all media,
culturally
all entertainment.
relevant things. Brian Wilson, one of the co-founders of the Beach Boys, who passed away last week at the age of 82, actually just 9 days shy of his 83rd birthday.
Damn.
Just a monster, a giant in the music industry, and the Beach Boys are such a relevant band and such an iconic one. I wanted to ask you if you had a favorite Beach Boys song.
I don't think I've ever listened to a Beach Boys song.
Damn, wow.
I don't think this is why I did tell you. I was like,
we are so cooked.
I didn't even know who Brian Wilson was until you wrote it down. For
All
our
right, but
stuff
you know
today.
who the Beach Boys are.
Yeah, I've heard of the Beach Boys.
They're
That's
iconic.
all I got.
They're legend.
But I'm not the right guy to talk to about the Beach Boys. All I know is they're called the Beach Boys.
That's crazy. Well, I would say that two of my favorites are God Only Knows and obviously Good Vibrations. I mean, come on,
Oh,
you
I know Good
their
Vibrations.
songs. Yeah, you know.
I know that one.
You know their songs. There's a great scene actually to relate it to film. In the film Us, it's funny on the topic of Jordan Peele. There's a scene, probably the best, most iconic scene in that movie. Most people would say with the Tyler family and the Ophelia speaker, and they're in like this vacation house, and Good Vibrations is playing, and some crazy shit goes down. With
That is
that
a good
on,
one.
and it's a very good use of the song as well as it just being a iconic song nonetheless. And then it's funny because, the shit's going down. She's crawling on the floor and she's like, Ophelia, call the police. And Ophelia's like, yeah. And Ophelia's supposed to be like an Amazon speaker. You know what I mean? Something like that. It's just what it's called in that movie. Like a, one
like
of those,
a device.
yeah, it's a device. And she's like, okay, now playing Fuck the Police by NWA. It was just it's a very like iconic scene and a great use of Good Vibrations. And Brian Wilson, I just wanted to shout him out because he's going to be very much missed by a lot of people. And that's a big loss. So, right, rest in peace, Brian Wilson. The world won't be the same. Thankfully we had the Beach Boys,
Yeah, R.I.P.
Yeah. And so talking about Us will help us transition into our next topic, which is our Bible study film. So the first go around, Jack and I had to watch Lotta and the Great Dictator. This time around, we chose the number 420. And so we got to watch Get Out, which was Jordan Peele's directorial debut in 2017. And so we'll just start like we do with any review and give some ratings. I'm going to give my rating first because mine is going to be the less controversial one.
Sure.
I give this movie 10 TSA agents out of 10. Absolutely. I hadn't seen it in what, 8 years? 8 years. When it first came out, that's when I first saw it. And I haven't seen it since. and it holds up. It is truly one of the great pieces of film, I think, of the 21st century. And I'll dive more into it in a bit. But yeah,
I give Get Out 7.5 lacrosse sticks out of 10.
yeah,
Um,
that's. I think that's controversial.
it
Honestly,
definitely is. It was fine. It was good. I had a good time watching it. I think the problem isn't with the movie, it's with my experience with the movie, if I'm being honest. Because I've seen a million clips on TikTok of it. I feel like I've seen the movie already, even though I never did. Because I've seen every possible scene on TikTok in like different orders. I knew the entire plot. I knew everything that was gonna happen. And that's kind of just the the stakes or the consequences of watching a movie for the first time that came out 8 years ago. You're going to get everything spoiled for you. It's going to alter your experience. So maybe that's what it is, because I just didn't think it was as like insane as everyone was saying, or as like suspenseful as everyone was saying, just because I know everything that's going to happen and I've basically seen it already. So as a first time watch, it wasn't too great. I just thought it was really good, and I couldn't give it more than 7.5.
I just feel like, I mean, I understand that, but it's not like I've seen the movie too, and I've seen clips and everything since then, and I get that I actually like saw it when it came out, but like I've still seen a bunch now. I just feel like having seen stuff, and yeah, I get that impacts your experience. I don't think that it just feels like such a stark drop for a movie that I feel like most people would agree is so nuanced and analytical, and just there's a lot more to it than just the exact surface level story. And I feel like, while I understand how like spoilers and seeing clips, and obviously just it is hard when a movie that is so popular that came out so long ago, you haven't seen it until now, you're not going to be able to avoid stuff. I get that, but I just feel like that still doesn't take away from the nuance and the importance of that nuance in the story that is being told. I'm not saying I get it may not be a 10 out of 10. I was like, I could see a 9, maybe an 8, but 7 to 7.5 just feels like quite a stark drop just for that reason.
I mean, I think
is I guess my point.
what carries this movie, honestly, from what I witnessed, was the acting. Like, the story was good, but I think the acting was the only thing about this movie that was next level. Like, the acting was a 10 out of 10. Everything else was just pretty good. I liked this. The story was fine. The characters were fine. The themes were, of course, important, but I don't think that's enough to make the movie. Like, you can have, and I'm not saying this is a bad movie, but you can have movies with important themes that are not good movies, like not well made. This is a well made movie for sure, but I'm just saying a theme is not enough to carry it for me. But I do think the acting was fucking phenomenal. Daniel Kaluuya, I don't know, like, this movie was nominated for an Oscar, maybe, or I don't know about that, but I think it should have been. At least Daniel Kaluuya was absolutely
I
killer
mean,
in
yeah,
this
this
movie.
was one of the most popular, both critically and like financially, and accolades wise too.
Did he,
Yeah,
wi-
it
he
was
did he win the Oscar?
for this one. I think he did.
Goated.
I think he
Goated.
did, but like, I disagree. What you say, the writing's just fine. I don't think the writing's just fine. I think this is one of the most well written movies in the last, of this probably century, as certainly of the last 10, 12, 15 years. It really has a lot to say about like neoliberal kind of like racism, this post Jim Crow era where, everybody's equal, right? Like, legally speaking, everybody is equal now. But the way that a certain class or a certain archetype structure of a person would interact with this culture, with people that don't look like them or don't sound like them. And I think it's the way that Jordan Peele displays that in the movie. Of course, like you say, the acting is phenomenal. Daniel Kaluuya, it is one of my favorite performances. In a long time. And like, just to say on him, real quick footnote, I feel like he's not doing as much these days. Like, I want to see more Daniel Kaluuya.
I heard that he's taken a break, actually, recently.
Oh, is he?
That's what I heard. I think people were like, guys, everyone needs to leave Daniel Kaluuya alone. Like, apparently he announced he's taking a break, or someone said that.
I didn't know that. Okay.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know if that's confirmed, but I definitely saw something about that.
I mean, I hope everything is okay. with
Yeah,
him.
yeah.
And if so, I hope we see a return to acting because
Hmm.
he is one of the best right now. But yeah, and this is the movie that put him on the map. So anyway, that's just a little side footnote there. But yeah, I do think that the acting is a big part of it. I think this cast really helps sell the story, but I think it's the fact that Jordan Peele has presented them with really meaningful work. I think there's a lot of attention to detail. I almost think maybe you should rewatch this sooner and really like focus more on little background things. Like for example, the cereal. I think this is a really great detail. Uh, she's eating like Fruit Loops, right?
Uh-huh.
And she's drinking milk, and she's got it separated. And I think a lot of people can talk about, oh, it's this idea of like villains drinking milk, having separately, like, it's crazy, blah blah blah. But I think there's more. I think Jordan Peele's trying to say more there about the separation of white versus color and the way she's going about like carefully drinking the milk versus the way she got her hands all over the cereal. Like I just think it's such a next level attention to detail to try and get this story across. And I think there's lots of that littered throughout this film. And I think it really helps kind of carry these moments of suspense, which for me is still there, even knowing what's going to happen. And I can't, that's just what it is, what it is. It's there for you or it's not. Like for me, I'm watching this, it's been so long and like I know what happens. I know, and spoilers for Get Out, of course, the film's been out 8 years. I knew she was obviously going to actually be with the family and
Right.
like that twist and everything. But it was just this kind of presentation of that story. And I think a really, like, I think you look around what's going on right now and in our country with the No Kings protests, the ICE raids. And I think that there's a lot of division and hate. And I think a lot of that comes from this passive aggressiveness in the late Obama years to early Trump era. And I feel like a movie like Get Out very well demonstrates this kind of pipeline that American society has progressed to, from this passive aggression to very upfront hate, and how that manifests. And I think this movie shows that earlier part of that pipeline. So I find it very meaningful work. And especially coming from a guy in Jordan Peele whose background is so much rooted in comedy, I think this really shows that distinction that we've talked about in prior episodes of comedy and horror and how they're actually so similar due to timing. And I think it just works so well to tell this very important story. So I respect your opinion. This is just mine in return. Like I think that it's not that the themes make this movie a 10 out of 10. It's that this movie genuinely is presenting these themes in ways that was never utilized before on the medium. And just because we are now reflecting on it almost a decade after its release, in my opinion, doesn't change doesn't change what it is or what it was. But the key word is my opinion, of course. I do find the dichotomy of this interesting
I don't.
because
Well,
no,
I was gonna
no,
say
you go. I want to hear what you
something
have
I
to think of
thought
all that.
interesting was interesting. I don't know if it's like a play on colonialism or something, but this theme or this motif of even the dad in the movie says he's like, there's nothing better than like experiencing someone else's culture, and it's like that is fair to an extent. Like of course you want to like be well traveled and you want to experience people's cultures, but of course they take it too far in this movie and they like become them. And I like that idea from a obviously like a cinematic standpoint of where's the line drawn between experiencing someone's culture and like accepting it before you take it over and you like ruin it. And that's what they do in the movie is like they become the black people of the movie. Like the older people like basically get a brain transplant into the black people, um and they become them, and it's like, oh, because their genetic makeup, and they're faster and stronger, and it's better for the older people to become them. And I thought that was a really interesting aspect where it's like, because at first I was like, yeah, I totally agree. Like, of course, it's nice to experience someone's culture, but then I was like, oh, like I knew where the movie was gonna take it, so I was like, okay, obviously, like I don't agree with the guy himself, but just that one sentence, of course. And then they are like, yeah, experiencing culture, that means we deserve to like be a part of it. And I think that's a line that is interesting to talk about and to show in a movie where it's like, at what point are you taking over and taking control of someone else's culture and not really assimilating, but more, um, yeah, kind of violating, I guess, someone else's culture. So I
I
thought that was an
agree.
interesting point.
It's kind of like when you like Christian missionaries almost,
Yeah,
where
no, exactly like that.
they're like traveling around the world and they're trying to, they're essentially trying to sell them a better lifestyle, saying like this, like you guys, like, oh, we don't hate you, we don't want to kill you, we want to fix you. And in this case, um it's really like this, it's this representation of the fetishization that a lot of white people can
Oh,
have
100%,
of
dude.
minority and people of color in different groups, and especially black people.
I think it's like a
um
fad.
yeah, and so the movie really shows, like, I like that it has two sides of that coin, where it's like, okay, obviously they're doing this really horrific thing, and it's this idea of like how a lot of people still look down and have these racist views, but at the same time it's almost this glorification, really, because or like really rooted from this wanting, this weird desire for various like physical traits that they associate with that race or with
Yeah.
that ethnicity. And that's demonstrated very, very cleverly in this movie. I mean, this movie's very smart.
It's like
um
manifest destiny. They were
yeah,
like, we are smarter and better and superior, so it's our job to take control, and like we're doing it. They basically like argue that it's for their own good, you know?
yeah, like that's how, again, they're trying to sell it to him,
Yeah,
right? When he's in
exactly.
the chair and he's tied there. And the Stephen Root
I had some
character.
questions
Yeah, what's
about this
up?
movie. Why? So just to clarify, the older people, like the grandparents specifically, they are being basically their brain is being put inside of the black people, right?
Yes.
Like they are controlling that body.
Yes. Like a part of
Why
their
are they
brain is
like the
being put in.
workers?
That's how they explain.
Yeah,
Well,
why are they
because
like the maid? Like why are they making their grandma be the maid? Like isn't that kind of fucked up?
I mean, yeah, but they have to hide it. They can't just go around advertising that that's actually their grandma
But can't they
and
just be like,
grandpa.
that's our friend? And like she can hang out with them? Like why is she like doing work? The other guy who's also like mowing the lawn. It's like you're gonna make
I
grandpa
mean,
mow the
because
lawn?
yeah, but because they don't view black people as equals, but they keep them around because they know they can, or to them they feel they can utilize the best parts of black people. Like that's their mindset about this.
Yeah,
It's not so
personally,
much like that's like it's about a sense of control. You don't have a sense of control over your friend, but they have a sense of control over the groundskeeper or the maid.
right.
It's
But
about
that was
that
kind of
power
like
dynamic.
that was like a not like a plot hole, but just something like in Pirates of the Caribbean where everyone knows in the first one they're all undead, right? They can't die. The people of the Black Pearl, and in the beginning of the movie, before you find out that twist, some guy gets an axe thrown in his back and he like lays on the ground for like 5 minutes, and it's like you assume he's dead, but later on you find out that that guy was undead. So it's just like to show the viewer, like to still keep the viewer surprised. They don't show that he's an actual zombie, like that shouldn't have hurt him. For this, I feel like it's the same thing. Like they want to keep the viewer in shock, so they're like, oh, they add suspense, like make them be the workers, because it didn't really make sense to me that they're like not trusted to not to be anything but workers. But at the end, she gives the guy a gun. She's like, here's a gun for you to do the work and like shoot this guy.
But I don't know that it's so much about trust, because it's not the entire, like they even mentioned they're like there's still a part of you there. So they know that. That's
Right,
not entirely grandma and grandpa.
but why give him a gun then? Like if it's not entirely your grandpa, like it's gotta be, right?
I mean, I
Like
guess
she gave him a gun. I mean,
but
it's not entirely the grandpa because he does turn around and shoot her.
she wasn't, but she didn't realize that, he was going to do the camera trick in that moment. And you also have to consider the circumstances they were
Yeah,
in.
maybe
It's
she was
not like
just flustered and shit was going down.
it's not like she handed him a gun like in the middle of that party or something, just out of nowhere. Like, it was very much shit hit the fan for them. He just murdered her whole family. And I guess she, like
Right.
she felt like it was control. Like, I'm going to make you kill your own kind. There, fine. Like, do it. Do the job. You're
Yeah.
stronger
I'm
than
being
me.
nitpicky,
Like, he
I
is
think.
stronger. You know what I mean? Like, I definitely think it's just very much like a circumstantial moment. And I think when you have those kind of plot holes, like, you have to consider the circumstantial moment
I'm
of
just
the story.
nitpicking for sure.
Yeah.
I know. I accept that. I know that.
But I love this movie. I think it really is one of the defining films of our generation. And
Yeah,
and
I wouldn't
think
argue
there's a
that.
reason.
I would not.
I think, yeah.
I wouldn't disagree with you. Like I can totally see why you and a lot of other people, most other people, think this is like the perfect movie. I totally get it.
I wouldn't even say the perfect movie. I mean, I genuinely don't believe in the idea of a perfect movie, but I just think
close to.
I just think it's really remarkable work. And it's funny, Jack. I wanted to say, so I was looking through my letterbox after I saw that you reviewed it. Out of 30 people that I follow who have the film marked as watched, you have the lowest rating.
Really? No one else?
And
I give it 3.5.
And you alone. The lowest before that was 4 stars. Like, you alone have the lowest rating out of the 30 people I follow on Letterboxd that have the film marked as watched.
I think this is a movie.
I just thought that was interesting. I wasn't trying
Sinners. I need to like let it sit for a while and think about it a lot, and maybe my rating would change.
I really think you should rewatch it. Like, not like tomorrow, but sometime.
Yeah, turn off the podcast. I'll watch it right now.
Yeah, right now. Fuck it. We'll pause. We'll come back. But no, I really think at some point soon you should rewatch this movie because there is a lot, like I said, a lot of nuance and a lot of just incredible work that's put into it.
I'm sure I will rewatch it. Yeah, my girlfriend loves this movie. I'm sure I'll watch it with her at some point.
I'm glad this segment got me to revisit this movie. And I know that I saw your list on Letterboxd. It is at least your favorite of the segments so far. Because the bar wasn't so high for you, but...
No. So we watched, The Great Dictator, La Adelante, and Get Out. So if you're listening to this right now, comment a number from 24 to 1,265. And that number coincides to a random movie in our film Bible that we both have. And then we'll watch that movie. We'll randomly pick one and we'll watch that movie. And we just happened to get Out this week, which was great. So if you're watching this, drop a number on any of our platforms. Just drop a number in the comments. We'll know what it means. And that will be in the running for the movie that we watch next time.
Absolutely.
We're picking numbers next week.
Next episode, we'll be picking, I don't know how many we'll do this time. It can be 1, 2, or like probably 3 would be the most, but we'll see.
And we have a lot of numbers in the running right now. So.
Oh, we do, but we always want more. So please drop some numbers. And it's randomly picked. Yeah. And Jack, just to leave it off, don't forget to check this one off in your film Bible.
Oh yeah, I do need to check it off.
Yeah, you've seen it. Because mine, I already had it checked off. I had already seen it. But
you guys can drop comments on the Spotify, on the YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, wherever. We're there. We're listening. We're watching. We're ready to watch more movies.
We're always looking to watch more movies, folks, and talk about it on the podcast. Well, I think this is time now. We get into this new segment, Jack. Why don't you tell us all about Versus?
Yeah, this is a new segment I thought of 2 nights ago when I was really drunk. I was like, let's say
added it to our shared note at 2 a.m.
I did. I was in bed. I was like, I can't, because I thought I would forget it. So basically the idea of Versus is that whenever we do this segment, this week I'm in charge of it. The person in charge will pick a whatever category they want. And it's a surprise for the other person. Josh doesn't know what the category is for this week. And that category, those numbers not numbers. What the hell am I saying? For that category, we will pit two things up against each other, and the winner will move on until that is the winner in the in. It's not really a bracket in the what did you call it before?
I don't know.
You called it something?
I called it the gauntlet.
The gauntlet. Yeah, yeah. So it'll run the gauntlet against all other things in that same category. So today's category, Josh, that you will be doing are actors you'd be most excited to work with as a director.
Oh.
Okay,
fuck.
so you're putting your shoes in a director, and I have 11 actors on my phone right now, and we're just going to see which one will run the gauntlet.
Wow. That's a great category. I am so fucking ready.
So we are starting off with Florence Pugh versus David Harbour.
Oh, that's tough. Because, it also depends on the kind of movie, obviously. Like, I just want to
you're the
preface it
director, so you're making whatever your dream movie is.
I love David Harbour, but I just got to go Florence Pugh. I mean, Florence Pugh's got the range.
Yeah, the scenario is like all these people are at your will, and you get to pick which one you want to work with.
Well, I don't like wording it like that. That sounds weird, but okay.
You said Florence Pugh?
Yes.
Florence Pugh versus Harrison Ford.
Oh, man. All right. This is going to be controversial, maybe. I'm going to say Florence Pugh.
No fucking way, dude.
Look, I love Harrison Ford. I think Harrison Ford is one of the greatest actors of of all time. But also, Florence Pugh is like a million years younger. No offense. It's
probably easier to work with.
It's not even about easier. It's just about there's more that you can probably get out of her and do at this stage of her career compared to Harrison Ford. That's actually very fair. It's like no disrespect. If I had Harrison Ford from like the 70s and 80s and 90s, like
that'd be probably number one, honestly.
But right now, Florence Pugh is one of the best doing it. I gotta go Florence Pugh.
Oh shit, you said Florence Pugh. I was ready for Harrison Ford. Florence Pugh versus Ryan Gosling.
Ooh.
Who would you most be excited to work with? Be most excited to work with as a director?
I would go Ryan Gosling. But because I would try and get like not like Ryan Gosling of right now, but I would try to get the Ryan Gosling of like 10 years ago out of him.
You can't. It's today, bro. It's Harrison Ford of right now.
No, I'm saying I could get that out of him. He's not too old to have that kind of a performance. Is what I'm saying. Like
you could direct him to do it.
The kind of roles he was doing to like 10, even like 7 years ago. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I'd like to try and get that Ryan Gosling, like the Nice Guys or some shit.
Florence Pugh is out,
but she had a good run. So mark down how long her run was, though. Make sure you like keep track of that. See who had the longest, because I want to know by the end who had the longest run.
Okay, ready?
Yeah.
Ryan Gosling versus Natalie Portman.
Ooh, Natalie Portman, actually. Yeah. Natalie Portman.
Okay. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah. Natalie Portman is so fucking talented.
Natalie Portman versus Samuel L. Jackson.
Samuel L. Jackson. I would do anything with Samuel L. Jackson.
I think that has possibility to win the whole thing.
And here's the thing. Before you ask, well, why him and not Harrison Ford? Again, absolutely love Harrison Ford, and I really mean no disrespect. He's truly one of the kings of the industry. I think there's still more left in the tank with Samuel L. Jackson, and I still feel like this is a man who still like could have one of like I feel like even with all the incredible roles he has in his book, he could still have a defining performance at his age. Like I would 100%. Love to work with him.
Yeah, dude. Samuel L. Jackson or Emma Stone?
That's so tough. I love Emma Stone so much, but I gotta go Samuel L. Jackson.
I knew putting this in there that Samuel L. Jackson would be a favorite. Samuel L. Jackson versus Leonardo DiCaprio.
Oh, I gotta take Leo. It's Leonardo DiCaprio.
I knew it.
Like Samuel L. Jackson's obviously like one of the coolest guys, maybe the coolest guy on earth. But Leonardo DiCaprio
right here, bro.
is like, oh, well, come on. I mean,
yeah. Okay.
Hey, in your defense, he has Jack in his name.
Who? Oh, that's
Samuel L.
right. Oh, yeah,
Jackson.
he does. Yeah.
What do you mean who?
I thought you
Leonardo.
meant Leo. I was like, Leonardo DiCaprio.
DiJackrio. Yeah, Leonardo
Yes.
DiJackrio. Um,
All right.
God, no, but Leonardo is Leo is without a doubt like probably the best. I don't know if anyone's gonna be able to
Mm.
topple him. Let's see.
Well, we got Leonardo DiCaprio versus Michael B. Jordan.
Leo. But Michael B. Jordan is I think he's gonna a lot of potential ahead of him. But Leo's just got way more under his belt right now.
There's only two left. Leonardo DiCaprio versus Robert Downey Jr.
Ooh. Probably DiCaprio. Robert Downey Jr. costs too much now.
You're working with the budget of your movie?
Yeah, well, hey, that is something to keep in mind. And DiCaprio is going to cost a fortune, but
I know,
also, like, Downey Jr. just got paid
You'll
like,
make money. You'll make bank off of
the
him, though.
GDP of a small nation to play Doctor Doom, so.
Yeah, really. All right, the final round. And I kind of figured this would be the final round. Leonardo DiCaprio versus Brad Pitt.
Wow. That's a good last round. I think you really did try to set that up, didn't you?
Yeah, I totally did.
I gotta stay with Leo for the win.
Yeah, I figured
Love
you
Brad
would.
Pitt, but Leonardo DiCaprio would be the dream. Wow, that was fun.
Leonardo DiCaprio wins the gauntlet of who Josh would be most excited with to work as a director himself. Florence Pugh made it, winning 2 rounds, beating David Harbour and Harrison Ford. Ryan Gosling beat out Florence Pugh. Natalie Portman beat out Ryan Gosling. Samuel L. Jackson beat Natalie Portman and Emma Stone, and then Leo took the rest, beating
Wow.
Emma Stone, Michael B. Jordan, Robert Downey Jr., and Brad Pitt. Or
That
not,
was a
she didn't
good
beat Emma
list.
Stone, yeah.
That was a
Yeah.
good list.
He beat Samuel L.
Um,
Jackson. Leo beat Samuel L. Jackson.
The only
That's
one
crazy.
I'm surprised you didn't have on there is Tom Cruise.
I thought about it. I had to cut it down. I couldn't make it too hard for you, you know? Like, I
Well,
had
you
some,
could've.
I had some other hard ones. I had Adrian Brody on there at one point. I had Cillian Murphy.
Wow.
I was rotating through which ones I wanted to throw on there. So that was
That's fair.
today's versus segment. Maybe
that's a lot
do
of
it in the
fun.
future. And it's quick. It was like 8
that's-
minutes long. Or
yeah.
something.
No, that was a lot of fun. I'm glad we did that. So be on the lookout.
And the
We'll
next
have
time we
more
want
in
to do
the
it, you pick a
future.
random topic. It could be
we'll-
anything.
Yeah. Well, all right.
Yeah.
I think it's time for some box office numbers.
Yes, sir.
All right. So we are going to go over our box office numbers from the weekend of June 6th to the 8th. All right. So in 5th place, in its 4th weekend of release, making just under $6.5 million, Final Destination Bloodlines. That's a 40.8% drop. I got to say, I'm surprised it's still in the top 5. I mean, as of June 6th to June 8th, but I'm surprised.
Yeah.
In 4th place, in its 2nd weekend of release, making another $8.5 million, is Karate Kid Legends. In 3rd place, in its 3rd weekend of release, dropping down to 3rd place, but still making a nice $14.8 million, is Mission Impossible: The Final Reckoning.
Respect.
45.5% drop from its last weekend. In 2nd place, in its opening weekend, the only film on this list in its opening weekend, making $24.5 million, is Ballerina, the new movie in the world of John Wick. And in 1st place,
A lot
in
of
its
stuff
3rd
came out recently, so that's surprising.
Yeah, but this was also like we're thinking this past weekend. This was kind of like the weekend before.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right.
In 1st place, in its 3rd weekend, making $32 million more dollars, is Lilo and Stitch. Lilo and Stitch's worldwide total, just an update for everyone out there, is $858 million. That's in 3 weeks. So it's definitely tracking that billion mark.
Uh-huh.
And you mentioned other movies that just came out and everything. A movie that I talked a bit about last week, The Phoenician Scheme, finished in 6th place. That was
okay.
technically
Yeah.
its 2nd weekend.
I'm surprised not
So
seeing that there.
yeah, I'm a little surprised too. I wonder where it's going to land in the next weekend's box office because I feel like that has some legs due to word of mouth, but also at the
Maybe
same
above Final
time,
Destination.
yeah, I'm not like, we'll find out next episode, but I'm not too sure that Final Destination is still going to finish in that top five and certainly above the Phoenician scheme. So we'll see.
Uh-huh.
Very, very interesting stuff, though, going on. And I think that leads us to our first review. We got a lot of reviews to get to.
We're
Speaking
gonna
of Ballerina,
I think we're gonna bang out a bunch of reviews this episode.
that's
Feel
the plan. Hey,
yeah.
but that's what I'm saying. It's summertime. New stuff is coming out. Jack, you and I were watching stuff. So I feel
Yeah.
like it's like that's the time of year where let's talk about the things we're watching.
That's
Let's
right. We got a lot
get
of stuff
some
to talk
thoughts
about.
out there. Um, I don't have too much to say about Ballerina. That's why I thought it would be good to get this one out of the way first.
Uh-huh.
So I'm coming into this saying that I gave it a 7 out of 10. So a 7 mouth grenades out of 10. It's fun. The one thing I'll say about the John Wick universe. Have you seen the John Wick movies?
I've seen the first three.
The first 3?
Yeah.
Okay. The one thing I'd say about John Wick is it's consistent. It's very
Consistently
consistent.
good, right?
Yeah, consistently good, but consistent. Like
Uh-huh.
there's never really been like a wow movie. My favorite is John Wick 4, but like every time I know what I'm getting into, it's fun, creative action fight sequences. And I think that's definitely worth going to the theater for. And
Uh-huh.
Ballerina, though it's not centered around John Wick, the first film in the franchise not centered around him, it's still worth going and checking out. If you miss in the theaters, definitely when it comes to streaming. Um, but it was fun. Ana de Armas was great in the lead. She did well with the choreography, super sexy, super exciting. And it was good. Obviously, it was cool to see Keanu Reeves playing John Wick again. And
Yeah, that
seeing
was in the
him
trailers.
reprise
Not even a
this role.
spoiler.
But no, it's not a spoiler. It was in the trailers. There's really not much spoiler talk I'm even gonna do for this. But
Uh-uh.
I just thought because I know you haven't seen it, but I just thought that the movie was kind of forgettable. Like it was fun. You know what I mean? I thought there was cool. Like for example, you know how the John Wick movies do like crazy kills with different things that aren't just guns and knives.
Yeah, which is the best part of those movies.
I saw a letterbox review that listed some of them and I thought it was fun. I was going to share them here, especially like out of context.
Uh-huh.
Trying to imagine like how you could kill someone with these things. Oh, some I guess you could
Is
see.
this
Others,
is this only from the Ballerina?
I don't know if it's all of them, but it's definitely some from Ballerina.
Okay, hit me with it.
Dinner plates, ice skates, a sword. That one's not really surprised, but
Oh.
it's still fun. A TV remote,
Okay.
uh, grenades, including she puts one grenade in a guy's mouth. That was like pretty nuts.
Oh, that's pretty sweet.
That's the only one I'll like. I don't want to spoil, but share. Just because it really stuck out to me.
Yeah, that's cool.
A flamethrower. That's probably the scene with that flamethrower is probably my favorite in the movie.
Okay.
An axe, and finally a water hose.
That's pretty. John Wick kills people with pencils, bro.
I know he's nuts. Like in this movie, he's just there. It's not really much, I mean, it's cool to see him, but again, like I said, the movie is like more or less forgettable. Like it exists. I'm glad it exists. I'm glad I saw it. It was fun. It's a great outing, but
Uh-huh.
I feel like in the grand scheme of things, it's kind of just going to get swept up in the stream.
Probably.
It's not really anything unique or new or different in the sense of people are going to be talking about this tomorrow.
Uh-huh.
So it's a good movie, but that's pretty much what all it is a good movie.
Well, let's move on to a movie we both saw.
That's right.
We saw The Materialists.
It's just
I think I'll
Materialists.
Oh, really? It's not the
Yeah.
Materialist? Wait, there's no the?
No, it's just Materialists.
Oh, my bad. Sorry, Pedro. Uh, all right. So, Materialists, my review for the Materialist. Fuck, I can say my
It's
review
like
for
Minecraft
Materialists.
movie.
I know it's like the Minecraft movie, but it's a Minecraft movie, which is so stupid.
Yeah, I
My
know.
review, my rating for Materialists, I give it 7.5 short kings out of 10.
uh, I give it 8 Neanderthal weddings out of 10.
Dude, I mean, we're gonna go into like spoilers, like whatever, because we're just talking about the movies. So if you don't want spoilers for Materialists, then maybe skip ahead 5 minutes. Um,
Well, we have the
but
timestamps. Go find a section that you have seen
yeah, true, true,
if
true.
you haven't seen those.
Um, Material that beginning with the Neanderthals, I like really thought it felt like they were trying too hard. Like whoever made this movie, that one, like
Celine Song.
I was like, that was I actually liked the movie a lot, but I was like, that was the dumbest thing I've ever seen. Like, it was just so stupid.
I mean, I was confused, you know?
Yeah,
But like, first of all, when you think about like Barbie, for example, Barbie starts off in a similar way, but the way they present it works.
yeah. This didn't
I
work for
think
me.
I think it was a little the idea that it started off with like this like Neanderthal beginning to show how it's part of like humanity and always has been, and
Yeah,
the
it's like
progression of that,
natural.
the evolution of it. Like it made sense, and by the end of the movie when they kind of full circle it, like I get it. um
Yeah, I get it. I was just like, this is dumb. Like, I don't need that.
uh yeah, they didn't need it, but I thought it was like, I did like the real specific transition of it being like, with the ring on her finger, and it shows like
I
cuts
did
to
like
the
that too.
present
Yeah.
day one, like that I thought was cool. um but yeah, it was a little weird.
Were
um
you Team Chris or Team Pedro?
I was Team Chris.
I was talking to my friends about this. I was Team Chris too, but only because she loved Chris.
But
Like,
that's the yeah.
she had better conversations with Pedro. She was happier with Pedro. Like I mean, maybe she wasn't, but she seemed happier with Pedro. Like, I think they could have been really so much better together if she had those feelings for him.
But that was the point of the movie.
That's the
Like,
point of the movie. Like, it's not about money. It's like about trying.
yeah,
Like, Chris at the end was like, I will try harder for you. I will get a real job. I will do this. It's not about that he's poor. It's that he didn't try,
yeah.
which I thought was a good message.
I thought that it was a really interesting dissection of like just modern dating,
Yeah.
and I think how people, especially like in our generation, which is the one that kind of grew up with the rise of the internet, and then of course the generation that has come after us, who don't really even remember the world before the internet was what it is now.
Yeah, they're born into it.
Like, I think that this movie does a really good job at showing how people in that age bracket, like the millennial, Gen Z age bracket, like how we interact with dating, with love, and how we really have created a separation of the two. And I thought it was interesting how Celine Song looked at that. And when I think of her first film, Past Lives, which was a more personal film than this, it's definitely better. It was much more personal, but they were both nuanced. Like, that's really, it feels like the word of the day, but it's true. Like, a lot of nuance in these films, and just analyzing the human, I guess, experience. And she definitely does that here, and I think even she has a really good way of utilizing the dialogue and like these spaces between two people and the interactions between them. I was really impressed by that.
Yeah, it felt really real. Like, this
Yeah.
is what it's like. I mean, you and I both know what it's like to date people, and it's like, and go on dating apps and not have a matchmaker, but like, it's kind of similar thing. Um, and the dialogue and the, like you said, like the connections between people and the way they interact with each other was very real. I mean, it's sad to say, but the amount of strays that short dudes and fat chicks caught in this movie
Yeah.
is insane, but that's life. Like that's a thing. If you, you know, it's very common for women to be like, I'm not interested in you if you're less than 6 feet. And it's very common for men to be like, I'm not interested in you if you're, if you weigh a certain amount. And it's these preferences that are very common and they're like deal breakers for a lot of people. And this movie uh, didn't shy away from the reality of dating and the brutality of dating. I mean, it's a rough world out there, like people are like that and they're not nice about it either. And that's kind of what this movie showcased. And I thought that wasn't really something I expected. I thought it would play it safe with that kind of stuff to not really insult anyone. Because I mean, watching this movie, like I wasn't insulted because I'm not the tallest guy in the world, and I've been like that. But I'm sure there's more people, maybe more insecure people about their height that are like, what the fuck? Why are they making fun of people who are 5'7", 5'8" the whole movie? I didn't care, but I'm sure other people might have gotten offended. I'm glad that this movie didn't care about offending those kinds of people because that is the reality of dating.
Yeah, and that's why, like, I think obviously there's a very controversial plot point in this film that revolves around sexual assault.
Yeah.
And I think that, you
Yeah.
know, the criticism of that is unwarranted. And I think that that comes from a sensitivity in the media that people want. Like, there's sensitivity that,
Wait,
in people.
what criticism?
Just like people, I feel like a lot of times sexual assault depictions in film and television are met with criticism. And I've seen people, like, talk about the way that that was handled and
Oh,
its usage.
are people that like you've seen online or people or whatever like criticizing this movie for those sexual assault scenes specifically, or are you just talking about in general, like people do criticize that kind of stuff?
Well, both in general, but also I did see a couple instances of people who didn't like its usage of it in the film as a plot
Oh,
point or whatever. I don't know. I thought that was weird because I mean, like, obviously I'm speaking as a man who hasn't gone through that experience, but like I'd imagine that having it presented in the movie the way it was, it is real. You know what I mean? That does happen. Like, when I say I'd imagine that that is unfortunately part of the experience, the dating experience for a lot of women, and that's the reality of the world we live in, the very unfortunate one at that. And
I
so, like, I feel like its inclusion, my point being, is like relevant, and
I think
not
so too,
distasteful.
but I think that was a problem with the marketing because this movie was marketed as like a who's she gonna pick, like she's torn between these two men. And I, watching the movie, didn't expect it to have those deep themes and events unfold. And I don't think it was bad. I think it was very relevant. I could see why people would be thrown off by it, but that is life. And like I said before, this movie is very realistic to the dating scene, and that being realistic does come with the unfortunate truths that people do experience. So it's still deserved to be in the movie and in the conversation for sure.
And I think, especially, like, to your point about the advertising, that was a card that it would make sense for her to keep close to her chest. Like, I think it worked. I think there was kind of a satirical approach to advertising it as this kind of 2000s rom-com-y kind of thing. But really, behind the curtain, which I love, is this truthful analysis of the modern dating experience.
Exactly.
And so I think it was really just important for her to put it that way, and well done. And I think anyone, like, fair enough, you were expecting one thing and it was something else. I do think anyone who's seen Past Lives understands what they're coming into. I get that that was Celine Song's first film, but it was so incredible. And the idea, people are like, oh, it's the same thing because it's about like a throuple kind of situation going on. They're a little different story wise. The narratives are not quite lined up that way, but it's just interesting that I think she's 2 for 2 in her work. Like I said,
Yeah.
Past Lives is more personal, but I think they're both nearly as impactful.
I never
Um,
saw Past Lives, but I was pleasantly surprised with this movie. I thought it was gonna be like a stupid rom-com, and when it did have those deeper themes, I was like, wow, this movie is like a lot more meaningful, I think, to me. I thought it was just gonna be some stupid movie. And I'm like, yeah, whatever, it's gonna be fun, dumb, whatever. And it impacted me, and I really enjoyed it.
it's authentic. I think is a good
Yeah,
word to
for
use
sure.
for it. It's authentic. It's real, and I think that's its content is going to resonate with a lot of people in that, like I said, millennial to Gen Z bracket. And so yeah, and
100%.
I will say I do think that this is Chris Evans' best performance since Knives Out.
Oh, okay. When did Knives Out come out?
2019.
After Endgame?
Yes, a year after.
Well, Endgame
But
came out in 2019.
oh yeah, no, it came out in 2018.
I think, all right, so you think he's better in this movie than he is in Avengers Endgame?
Probably not. No, but I'd argue he's better in Knives Out than Avengers Endgame.
I would argue that too. I think that is his.
But
He's really good in Snowpiercer
I'm
too.
saying that this is his best role, his best performance since Knives Out.
But Endgame came out after Knives Out. That's what I'm saying.
I don't think it did.
I thought you said it came out in 2018.
Knives Out came out in 2019.
But so did Endgame, so that's the question.
Oh, I really thought Endgame came out in 2018. I was mixing
No,
that
Infinity
up.
War came out in 2018.
Uh, yeah, no, okay. In that case, it came out the same year.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
anyway, I do. I'm with you that
But I think,
excluding
but my
Endgame,
point
regardless of when that came
being,
out.
my point being, I do think he's better in Knives Out. They came out the same year, so I'm saying this is his best performance since Knives Out.
Unless Knives Out came out before Endgame.
But I don't know that it did. They came out the same year.
Right, so that's what I'm saying though. Like Endgame could, this is semantics, but Endgame could have come out a month later than Knives Out, you know, you never know.
But that
I mean,
doesn't
we
really
could know, we could
matter.
find out.
It really
Okay.
is. It's not about the exact month because there's a difference between like when it releases in theaters, when it releases in festivals, when things then that release like point.
Right, but if you say it's the best performance since Knives
That
Out,
year,
but
those
Endgame
films are
came out
considered, but those films
after.
are considered to have come out the same year. The difference of a couple months doesn't really matter.
Well, it does when you say the best performance since Knives Out, because if Endgame came out after and you think that's better than this one, then it's not the best performance since Knives Out. It's the best performance since Endgame.
You're too attention to these
You
fucking
fucking
logistics.
idiot,
It
dude.
doesn't matter when you think about. No, you're the fucking idiot. Because when you think about film, it's about the year. Because Knives Out could have
But
released
if
at
he
a
has
festival.
if he has a performance
but the
that
release
comes
dates aren't
out.
this fucking. You're actually fucking stupid as shit. Because the release dates aren't always the same fucking release date for one movie. One movie doesn't always have one release date. A movie can have multiple release dates.
you're,
You're actually fucking stupid. A movie can have multiple release dates.
you're still going? You froze for a second.
Fucking stupid.
Okay. All right. Anyway, it was a good performance. It was a great performance.
And
I
arguably
think
is
he
better
easily
than
had the best lines in
Endgame.
this movie.
Honestly, there is an argument that it's better than Endgame. Anyway,
There's definitely an argument, but I think I would choose Endgame. But I wouldn't be opposed to listening to an argument about that. We moving on to some other reviews.
yeah. All right. On that note, why don't we get into? Well, we'll go into the life of Chuck next. I think we need the optimistic.
Another one of your reviews.
I think we need the optimistic upside after Materialists.
Sure.
So the life of Chuck is the new Mike Flanagan film out in theaters, starring Tom Hiddleston and Mark Hamill, and basically it's just the story of the man of Charles Chuck Krantz. And so I gave it 9 thanks for 39 great years Chucks out of 10. Now this movie, uh, I'm not going to really go into spoilers because you haven't seen it, Jack. So I'm not going to talk too
Yeah.
much about that. But I will say that for a guy like Mike Flanagan, who is one of my favorite directors of all time, by the way, Mike Flanagan, he's done The Haunting of Hill House and Bly Manor and Midnight
Yeah, you're a
Mass.
huge Hill House guy.
I mean, these shows they're remarkable. It's great work, and he's got a lot of exciting upcoming stuff as well in the horror realm. And yet, The Life of Chuck is kind of a break from that. It's really more so. It's really a more wholesome story, and it's probably the most optimistic story that Stephen King ever wrote. Um, and it just really resonated with me, like its message. You know,
Uh,
there's some flaws I could see, but it really resonated with me. It's like 3 vignettes. Uh, 3, like they really specify like a part 1, 2, and 3, and the way it's presented to you is different, and I'll leave it at that. And it's really cool, but it just, like I said, it really resonated with me. Just kind of a really optimistic story and a sense of warmth and hope, and that's really something that I feel like we need right now in our
there's
lives.
no horror elements to this movie?
No, there's not really. I mean, there's like
Interesting.
one moment, there's like one scene that's like kind of like, for it to work,
Huh.
he has like, you could tell there's horror elements to it, but no, overall it is a break from that kind of work, and it's really more just a story about life and about ourselves and the way we treat ourselves, and the little moments. Like there's one scene in the movie where Chuck is like walking down the street, and there's a girl playing a drum kit, and everybody's just like walking around and no one's really paying attention, and he stops and he thinks about something, and I leave it at that, and something that reminds him, and he starts dancing, and it ends up being this whole big wonderful dance sequence, and it really is like the best scene in the movie. Because there's like all the scenes in this movie, it's filled with a lot of hope and a lot of just like respect for the little moments, the little pockets that of life that we don't otherwise give any attention to. And I really loved that about this movie. And it was great. It was actually great. It's like the whole message of it, of the movie is like this one quote, this one piece of dialogue in the movie, which is, about how you contain multitudes, and that multitude could be a universe. And it's this idea of just, like inside of us and our imaginations is endless ideas and realities and universes, and every single person has that in them. So every single person is their own universe. And it's just such an uplifting idea for us to be discussing and seeing in a movie, and so it really resonated with me. I mean, I cried. Like I actually did cry. Yeah.
Wow. Gotcha.
I don't know. I don't always. You know what I mean? Movies don't always make me cry, but so when it does, it's
Uh-huh.
definitely. I mean, I wasn't sitting there like bawling, but like when the tears are welding in your eyeballs,
Right.
you're in
Yeah,
the
yeah.
moment,
That
you're
counts.
feeling it. So, um, that was a beautiful movie. Mike Flanagan, as I always say, is my favorite. Mark Hamill, like, you know what I mean? I love this duo now that we're seeing of Mark Hamill
Uh,
and Mike Flanagan. I don't know if you saw The Fall of the House of Usher. I don't even know how many Flanagan shows you've seen. Hill
Two.
House, just Hill House and Bly Manor. Oh boy, dude, you gotta, first of all, you gotta watch Midnight Mass. That's the next one, and it's one of his best things he's ever done. But you gotta get through some of the Flaniverse. I mean, there's some,
The
yeah, there's
Flaniverse.
some good, that I mean,
All
yeah, there's
right.
some good work. And he's a great, like, him and Stephen King, with the King writing and the Flanagan adapting, it's just a tried and true duo. You can't go wrong with it. And the movie was just really beautiful. It was a really beautiful movie. Like I said, one that I think we all need right now. So, I mean, I definitely think everyone should check it out. Thanks, Chuck.
Let's move on to the final review of the evening. I'm gonna review quickly Predator: Killer of Killers.
That's right. Not everything coming out is in theaters. There is streaming happening right now too. This is on Hulu, I believe.
Available on Hulu. Predator: Killer of Killers. I gave a 9 Predators out of 10. I don't fucking know. 9 out of 10 for Predator: Killer of Killers. It was really, really good. And I've actually never seen a Predator movie. I've only seen Prey, and I loved it. And I know I need to watch at least the first Predator movie, but I loved Prey, and I was like, yeah, let me check this out. And this was honestly better than Prey. This was fucking awesome. The idea of Predator: Killer of Killers, non-spoilers, it takes you through the centuries of humanity and predators go.
It's an anthology, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of like Life of Chuck, like you said. It's 3 separate stories.
Oh, okay.
The first one is a Viking who a predator comes to wherever they're in Scandinavia probably and attacks her, and then and it's different predators too. It's like a giant predator. The second one is in early 1600s Japan, I think, and it's like a skinnier, more agile, more stealthy predator fighting a samurai. And the third one is a predator fighting a World War II pilot, American World War II pilot. So it takes you through these 3 different stories throughout history, and it's done really well. The characters are so intriguing and likable, and 2 of them don't even speak English. The samurai and the Viking don't speak English, but you have their relationships that they have, and they're badasses, dude. They're fucking cool. They're smart. And it's a really cool concept. And I loved the idea of Prey when that came out, how it was like 1730s or whatever, 1760s North America with the Native Americans. I thought that was really cool. And they just bumped it to the next level with having it be like hundreds and hundreds of years ago. And it was really cool. I would definitely check out Predator: Killer of Killers. If you like that series, the Predator series, you would love this. And if you haven't seen a Predator movie, you don't even need to. I mean, this was my second one, and it's quick, it's short. It's like an hour, 20 minutes or an hour and 10 minutes or something. And it's a good time. It's a great watch, dude. It's just so badass. It's so cool. The characters and the predators are fucking awesome. They just look cool. And the design, the animation's a little clunky at first to me personally, because it's kind of like a less well done Spider-Verse animation, but you get used to it, and it works for this world. So it's a really cool movie. I would definitely check out Predator: Killer of Killers if you haven't seen it. And if you have seen it, drop a comment. Let us know what you think of. I want to know what everyone thinks of this movie because I thought it was amazing. I'm pretty sure it's got really good reviews, but I'm not entirely sure what the popular vote is, what the popular answer is for this movie.
You know what's funny too? You talk about how the only 2 you've seen is this and Prey. They're the same director, Dan Trachtenberg, who is also directing Predator: Badlands, coming out in November.
I'm so excited for
and
that.
I think it's really cool. They've kind of entrusted him with this franchise right now. And I mean, I haven't seen Killer of Killers yet, but I saw Prey. And I think it's really interesting that he's trying like different things. Like so far with these 2 films, it seems like, he's taking this franchise and this character and doing something that we haven't seen before with it. And so that does make me even more excited for Badlands. And I am looking to check out Killer of Killers soon enough. It's not my seesaw for today, so we're okay. But looks really interesting. And so
I think you would really love it.
Yeah, I think that's really cool. So, all right, we're going to breeze through some news really quickly. And the first one here, I definitely want to know your thoughts on because I know how much you're a big fan of The Incredibles. I think that's one of your favorite Pixar movies. And I do want to rank Pixar movies with you on this podcast at some point soon.
We definitely maybe when Elio
That's what
comes
I was
out.
thinking. Maybe when Elio comes out, we
Yeah.
can dive into that. But I wanted to get your opinion. So they announced they are doing a third Incredibles movie, and Brad Bird is coming back to write it, but he will not be directing it. Instead, the movie is going to be directed by Peter Sohn. Peter Sohn is no stranger to Pixar. He does have some experience. He directed The Good Dinosaur and Elemental. The Good Dinosaur was not that great.
Okay. Good Dinosaur was ass.
Elemental was good. Well, not great, but it was good.
It was pretty good.
It was a fun movie. So what do you think about them entrusting the third installment to this franchise in his hands?
I don't know. The Incredibles is my favorite Pixar movie. It's probably tied with Monsters Inc. Like those are easily the top two, kind of interchangeable. I don't know, man. I mean, like Elemental and Good Dinosaur isn't the greatest resume from Peter Sohn.
Yeah.
But at least Brad Bird that's who it is, right?
Brad Bird.
He's involved in some capacity, but this kind of I love The Incredibles. I didn't love The Incredibles 2. It's probably not even like top like 12 or maybe 15 Pixar movies for me. I wasn't the biggest fan of it, so I can see why maybe they didn't ask him to come back to direct, or maybe he stepped down, because it kind of makes it feel like it's a Taika Waititi situation with Thor. Thor Ragnarok was really well received. Thor Love and Thunder wasn't, and now the rumors are that he's not being asked to be involved in the Thor franchise any further. And it seems
but that's
like
the difference, right?
You have a great success.
That's the difference, because Brad Bird is still involved. He's going to write. He's going to write the movie.
Yeah,
So I mean,
maybe that's because Incredibles 2 wasn't as terrible.
I think it's a matter of he doesn't want to direct it. Like if Brad Bird wanted this movie, it'd be his. The first two were financial successes.
You think so?
The first two movies, I think, are financial hits for Pixar and Disney. Why wouldn't they want Brad Bird back to do the third one? He didn't even want to do the second one.
Baby.
He didn't even want, but remember how long it took for him to do the second one? Because he didn't want to. Like I've always been under the impression that I didn't think he was ever gonna do a third, and so the fact that he's even writing it, I think, is something. But
I don't know. I feel like maybe it's just like a cash grab from Disney, like Toy Story 4. But I feel like he has to have some sort of confidence in it if he's writing it.
Sure. No, I mean, I'm sure he thinks there's a story, but maybe it's like about the work, like the workload or something. Like he doesn't want to devote more time to directing it. I don't know, but I mean, you're right. Peter Sohn, it doesn't, like, his resume doesn't, and it doesn't invoke a lot of hope. But at the same time, I guess you can say, well, Elemental is a step up from The Good Dinosaur, so you hope that this is now another step up from Elemental. So we'll see how that goes. I mean, I'm excited to check it out. Another thing that I am crossing my fingers that happens is the rumors that Robert Eggers, who's known for The Lighthouse and Nosferatu more recently, the rumors are that he is going to write and direct an adaptation of A Christmas Carol, and his top choice to star as Ebenezer Scrooge would be Willem Dafoe. I would love
That's the
this.
perfect casting.
I mean, obviously those two have a history working together in The Lighthouse, like I said, and he was in The Northman, which I loved, absolutely great movies, and Nosferatu. So like there is a history there, and Willem Dafoe's always like in the weird roles, and Ebenezer Scrooge would just be so perfect. And I think this would be like the darkest take on this tale yet. And this is obviously such an iconic movie. A Christmas Carol is one of the most iconic, maybe the most iconic Christmas story. So
Willem Dafoe looks like Ebenezer Scrooge. Like if you need someone who looks like some sort of goblin-like creature, or like, I don't know, like the skeleton of a goblin, then that's Willem Dafoe.
Yeah, no, I mean, they would absolutely nail that down. Like if you saw what he looked like as well in Poor Things too, like when you think about that, he had all the like crevices in his face and everything. So that, I mean, I would love to see that happen. And I know it's not necessarily your field, but I mean, it would be a Christmas movie, and with Willem Dafoe, a really dark one. Like,
and it's Willem Dafoe. I love Willem Dafoe.
I think it'd be interesting. He's one of my favorite actors of all time.
I would watch anything he's in.
The last piece of...
No, me too. He's up there for sure. Did you know? Wait.
Yeah.
Did you know that I found this out recently? I don't I'm not sure if I fully remember it correctly, but Willem Dafoe is the most watched actor on Letterboxd for like the last 3 or 4 years.
Really? Well, he was one of my most
Yeah, like
watched at one point. I don't know about last year, but I think it was 2023.
like he's just in the most watched movies, I guess, on Letterboxd for the last couple of years. It's not movies that came out that year; it's like all Letterboxd reviews. So I think that was really funny that like it's Willem Dafoe.
Well, it was really,
of
it's funny you
everybody.
mentioned that real quick, like super quick. When you like, because you know, you can see the percentages of how many movies you've seen of that
Yeah,
actor. For Willem Dafoe, it's only like 14%
yeah.
for me because he's been in 216 films. But then when you open it up, I still have seen 31 movies that I have marked as watched that Willem Dafoe's in on Letterboxd. That's a lot.
Wait, I want to see
Like just because the
mine.
percentage is low because he's in a lot, 31 movies
I
is
have.
still a lot.
Oh, my shit's not loading, but I don't know how many I've seen. Letterboxd kind of glitches sometimes and doesn't work,
Dude,
but
yeah, it does. That's true. Um,
let me try one more time. Yeah, it's not showing up. But yeah, that he's in a
well, check
shit ton of
after.
stuff, so
Yeah,
I can
definitely
see that
check
happening.
after.
Yeah,
All right, last piece of news that I found interesting. I actually forgot about this. I see it on our list, and I would skip over it, but it's just too interesting. I want to know your thoughts real quick. Warner Bros. Discovery, after merging, what, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago, whatever, not even that long ago, is splitting into two companies. One is going to focus on streaming and studios, so like Warner Brothers Television, Pictures, Games, DC, HBO, Max, and all of their film and TV libraries. The other is going to be global networks. This includes CNN, TNT, Discovery, and all of the other television networks in that umbrella. So they're going to focus solely, they're going to have a company that solely focuses on streaming and like entertainment, and another one that focuses on the news and sports networks and that library. What are your thoughts? Because I think that's a pretty major news story that kind of got swept under the rug. Like, I don't think enough people are talking about this.
I mean, like from a business standpoint, that makes sense. Like, don't put all your eggs in one basket. Like make different uh businesses or companies to focus on different things. Like I get it, but I mean, that's like this is like monopolization.
Yeah.
Like this is they're doing a lot. They're doing too much. And at what point do they stop? Is
It
the
really,
question.
and like we talked about, obviously the rebrand with HBO Max, from Max to HBO Max. Like, it
Right.
really feels like Warner Bros. Is just shuffling pieces on the chessboard. Um,
They're just moving shit
that's
around.
how it comes across to me. Like, obviously, I don't know everything going on behind the scenes, but it just really feels like they're moving deck chairs on the Titanic. That's essentially like it feels
Do you
like.
think it's just a really?
I mean,
Why you
that's,
think they're done for?
I don't know. Like it just, I don't think they're done for, but I think that you're seeing the steps towards the breakdown of that, massive singular parent IP.
Yeah, it does also feel like they're trying to play catch up,
And I feel like the
you
merger
know?
Discovery was maybe more. I feel like they bit off more than they could chew with that. And they have had flops, you
Probably.
know what I mean, in the box office and different things. And I definitely think, I mean, like an underrated thing to talk about. We don't talk about like sports kind of content creation on here, but there is a whole side of
Uh-huh.
entertainment with that and television.
Yeah.
And like a really popular show on TNT is the pre and post game shows with Shaq and Charles Barkley and Ernie Johnson
Uh-huh.
and Kenny Smith. And I even love it. I'm not a huge basketball fan, but it's so entertaining, and they're losing the rights to that show and the NBA, and it just goes to show, like, you know, TNT's had NBA for so long. The show is one of the most popular shows that they have on that side of the entertainment bracket, and here they are losing that piece, and
Yeah, that show's
shuffling it
huge.
around. I find the whole thing, I wouldn't say alarming, but definitely seems to be some kind of struggles going up at top at Warner Bros. And we've been saying this for some time, and so I mean, it's definitely just worth highlighting. I would say on our show
Uh-huh.
here that
Yeah,
that
for
this is
sure.
going on. This is weird. So, funky stuff going on in the realm. And that side of it, we always like to have fun talking about, the stuff on screen, but the stuff off screen is very pertinent as well. So,
behind the scenes stuff.
well, we promised you we would finish off this episode celebrating Father's Day, which just passed this past weekend of recording. And so same thing that we did with the mothers. We're going to rank our top 5 TV fathers. I don't know how you went about it. I assume the same way you went about the mothers. But we're honoring the best of the dads on our television sets, and there's a lot of them. So I'm curious about this. I think we know how to decide who goes first.
I think we do.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's MVB, Martin Van Buren. What's up, Marty? How we doing?
He's back.
He's back. He's always here. We
mascot.
need him. He kind of low-key is running the show behind the scenes.
He mediates.
Oh, wait. Call it. Fuck.
You gotta call it, bro.
No, you call it.
You call it.
Fuck. All right.
No, I called last time.
All right. I'm going to call heads. Tails. Fuck. All right. You go first.
All right. My top 5 dads of television. Happy Father's Day.
Any honorable
everybody.
mentions?
I did. I don't have any written down, but I did. Yeah, I have a couple because there's some I had to end up taking off the list. I did this based on how they are as a father. So the same thing what I did with the mothers list on Mother's Day. This is them, and they're in their role as father. Honorable mentions go to Homer Simpson. That might be my only honorable mention. I can't think of anybody else right now. Homer Simpson's my honorable mention. Number 5, Danny Tanner from Full House. Bob Saget, R.I.P. He was like America's dad at that time. Number 4, I have Ned Stark from Game of Thrones. Ned Stark taught his children in a world of brutality. He taught his kids to be honorable, to be, to have dignity, to be have respect for others, and show mercy. And I think that's why his kids are like some of the best people in that whole Game of Thrones universe. They're the only ones that you could look at and be like, they are good people. And I think that's all due to Ned Stark's parenting and his role as a father. In third place, I have Phil Dunphy from Modern Family. Just the most silly, fun guy you'd want to hang out with. He loves his children, and he's a great dad, but he's not too strict. He knows how to have a good time, but also be responsible. And I think anybody would be lucky to have Phil Dunphy as a father. Like, the guy is just happiness in a person, and it's great. And you can see him teach that to Luke too in Modern Family. If you've seen Modern Family, like, he is like his father. My top 2, neither of them are the dads, but I'm going with it anyway. Number 2, I have Din Djarin, the Mandalorian. He's not biologically the father of Grogu, but I think that his dedication to Grogu makes him already number 2 spot in my father's list, because he will do anything for this baby that he's not even related to, and he just met a year ago or whatever, however long the time for him is. Even when they just meet that day, he's like, I'll guard you, I'll save you, I'll protect you with my life. And I think that is respectable, and I think he deserves to be on the list. And number 1, the best TV father of all time is Uncle Iroh from Avatar: The Last Airbender. Uncle Iroh unfortunately lost his own son while he was off conquering Ba Sing Se, or trying to conquer Ba Sing Se, and he became the true father of Prince Zuko. And I think his relationship with Zuko and him, kind of like Ned Stark, trying to teach his children, and Zuko, his nephew, how to be good and how to solve that conflict within yourself. I think he is solely responsible for Zuko's entire character arc in that show. And Zuko has the best character arc in that show because Iroh is such a good influence. He's such a good person. And he's willing to risk it all for his nephew and for good. And he's done bad stuff. He's 100% done bad stuff. When he was a general, he was brutal. He was apparently he's done horrific things. But he learns, and by the time we see him in the show, he's a learned man, and he is there for his nephew and forgives his nephew for all the bad shit that he does. And I think that forgiveness and that taking on that responsibility of Zuko when his own father won't, Ozai would never, makes him the best father around on television.
I forgot about Uncle Iroh. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, what'd you think of the list? You
That's
like
a
it?
good list. No, that is a good list. A lot of interesting fathers. Some crossover. We'll see. So I'll throw mine at you guys now. My top 5 dads on television. I do have some honorable mentions. I'm just gonna run down. I am gonna tack on Uncle Iroh because I forgot about him. So I'll leave him as an honorable
Yeah.
mention because he is one of the best father figures. Homer Simpson as well. I was surprised that you did name drop him. I thought you'd be like, I thought you were gonna like criticize me for mentioning him because he literally chokes his own son. So I,
That's the only thing that I was like
but
debating.
I think I also weigh in like how iconic they are as a TV dad too, and like Homer Simpson is like the, TV dad in a lot of ways.
Right.
So anyway,
Yeah.
the rest of my honorable mentions: Ray Barone from Everybody Loves Raymond, Hal from Malcolm in the Middle, and Tony Soprano from The Sopranos. So those are my honorable mentions. In 5th place, I have Bob Belcher from Bob's Burgers. Bob is just a hardworking guy running a business, taking care of his family. He's probably one of the most like relatable dads on television. In 4th place, this is an interesting one. I have Hugh Crane from The Haunting of Hill House. The relationships between Hugh Crane and his children are no doubt fractured due to the events that went down at Hill House. But at the end of the day, he did exactly what he needed to do to save his children from that danger. And unfortunately, and he admits this, he couldn't save them from the realities and like protect them from the realities of the world, but he was able to protect them from the dangers of that house. And that's like what any good dad should do. So Hugh Crane is in 4th place. 3rd place, Red Foreman from That 70s Show. He's a hard ass for sure. He'll kick you in the ass. He'll stick a foot in your ass. But like at the end of the day, he's just trying to do what's best to raise them. And I know he's like, a dad in That 70s Show, and obviously later in That 90s Show, he's a granddad. But like, he is at the deep down. Red Foreman has a good heart. In 2nd place is Danny Tanner from Full House. It's like you described him, Jack. He's America's dad. And we grew up with him as America's dad. And it's funny too when you think of Bob Saget and his life and career. Bob Saget was known for like his dirtier kind of comedy, and yet here he is
Yeah.
on this sitcom playing one of the most wholesome characters that's ever been on television. And I think he really helped raise a lot of us, not just his 3 daughters. And then in 1st place, my top TV dad is Philip Banks from The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air, Uncle Phil to Will Smith, but still the dad to the Banks kids. He is the best dad. He is tough on them when he needs to be. He is gentle and sweet with them when he needs to be. He knows how to parent, and he was able to raise not just 3, but it turns out he ended up I guess he has a 4th one later on. So he ends up having 5 kids when you count Will, even though he's his nephew and not his kid. But he ends up becoming his own because he helps him navigate some of the darkest moments of his life and helps him turn into a kid from, getting in trouble on the streets to a really, not like just well adjusted, but self-realized person. And all of his children really grow up and mature into these self-actualized, self-realized people. And, unfortunately, the actor James Avery's passed away since then, but he forever remains, and Bob Saget and all these fathers on this Father's Day and every day, some of the dads that helped us grow up. So those are my top 5 TV dads. Those are our top 5 TV dads. We just want to say happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, my dad including. Yeah, we love you.
I like how our both number ones were uncles.
Yeah, but you know what? It's this idea,
Uncle Phil and
Uncle
Uncle
Phil and
Iroh.
Uncle Iroh. That's so true.
They stepped up.
They stepped up and were the father that Zuko and Will needed. Like at the end of the
Yeah,
day.
I think that's part of their charm is that they didn't need, they didn't have any responsibility for them. I mean, they did because they're like the uncle, but they didn't need to take
No,
on that
they
full
chose the
responsibility
role
of the father. And they chose it because that's who they are.
They chose it because that's who they are, and they knew that that's like what I said Zuko needed, and that's what Will needed. And I think that that's two very different shows, but it's just 2 great examples of how, a stable key father figure can go such a long way. Yes, when you're a kid, but even when you're a little older, like Zuko and Will, it can help mold you into, becoming a better version of yourself. And that's what we see in both of those characters at the end of their journeys. And so, yeah, I think we both had some great number ones, actually. It's a good point.
Some great lists, man.
Yeah, let's just keep jacking each other off. So, all right.
What the
You know what? Like patting ourselves on the...
You weren't going to tell them. You said you weren't going to tell them.
I'm sorry. You guys don't know what's going on below the camera.
Just
all right. Well, it wouldn't be an episode of the Box Office Dynasty without everyone's favorite, Seesaw. I went first with the list for the fathers, so why don't you give us your Seesaw first?
You definitely did not go first with the list of the
fathers.
Oh,
you're right. But I chose... Fuck. It's been a long episode, okay? It's been a long day. Yeah. But I flipped the coin. Should we flip the coin again, or should we just...
I think you flip it. I'll call it this time.
All right, you call it. God damn. All right, you're right. Fuck. Okay.
It was Tails last time. I'm going to call Tails again.
All right. Fucking sound like Sonic. Fuck, it was Tails.
Hey, let's go, baby.
Hacks, cheater.
No, mine's kind of stupid anyway, but I'm going to do it anyway. So, for my Seesaw, something you want to see, something you've already seen, you saw. I want to see all the Superman movies.
Like Christopher Reeve?
To be Christopher Reeve, Brandon Routh, and rewatch Henry Cavill. I've only actually ever seen Man of Steel. So, I've never seen the original Superman movies in their entirety. So before Superman comes out this July, I am going to rewatch as many of those as I can. And yeah, I'm excited for those because knowing only Henry Cavill and knowing how, after reading Superman comics, how different that is from the source material, I'm excited to see something a little more faithful with the new one coming out and the originals, of course. And something I saw, which is something everyone should see, is the first 10 episodes of the Box Office Dynasty podcast available on YouTube and Spotify. If you feel like watching, if you're watching this one right now, go check them out. Link is in the description for our YouTube, our Spotify, our TikTok, our Instagram. We are everywhere. And I watched all those recently, and they're all fantastic episodes. The first 10 episodes, amazing. This is the 11th. It's even better than all of those, probably. Unless you're watching it right now, then it isn't. And go watch them because they're also amazing.
That was a shameless plug.
Shameless. I couldn't think of anything else.
Just say you didn't watch anything this week. Just say everything. No, that was clever, but it was shameless.
It was
all right.
Yeah.
Well,
that's
okay. That's true. I did watch that recently too. They are great episodes, so you are onto something. They're
fire,
pretty
right?
fucking awesome.
And very so entertaining.
We should win an award.
Those guys are so handsome,
man. Like, I hear they're like packing too.
I heard they're jacking each other up.
Under the camera. Okay, so something that I saw, a TV show that I actually started, some people really wanted me to check out, so I watched the first 2 episodes, is The Rehearsal, a Nathan Fielder show. I'd never seen any of it. I've seen a couple of his other shows in the past, but I'd never seen this one. And season 2 had just came out, and everyone was talking about it, and he was literally on fucking CNN. So I decided to check it out. I don't love it so far, but obviously Nathan Fielder is a very acquired taste of comedy. I don't know if you've seen any of his stuff before. But I did start checking that out, and I'm going to keep giving it a try. And something I want to see, this is going to bookend this episode. We opened this episode dedicating it, to Brian Wilson and talking about him and obviously the Beach Boys and their impact on music. So something I would love to see is actually in 2014, a biopic about Brian Wilson came out called Love and Mercy. And it stars, it like takes place over multiple decades. So it stars 2 people, Paul Dano and John Cusack, as Brian Wilson. And it just kind of like showcases his rise and his fall and a lot of the things he was going through and how he tried to kind of make a revival for himself and just that impact that the Beach Boys had on culture and American culture at that time, because it can't be understated. And I do think, like, we at the beginning of this episode, we talk about, you're like, yeah, I don't really know a lot about them. I do think you'd be surprised that there are at least a few songs that you don't realize are Beach Boys songs.
I'm sure.
And that's like a dedication, and like it just shows like how ingrained into American culture they are, that you can even not know who the Beach Boys are and their work, because their work is just so all over the place. So I'd love to see that biopic. I added it to my Letterboxd watch list. It's a great way to bookend this episode. Rest in peace, Brian Wilson. So that is it for this week on the Box Office Dynasty. Jack already kind of did the shameless plug for us.
I did. Do it again.
Do it again. Encore.
They want to hear it.
Yeah. So like he said for us, check us out. We're everywhere. We're on TikTok. We're on YouTube. We're on Spotify. We're on Apple, Amazon. We're probably in the Sylvester pool down at the bottom of the Mission Impossible fucking ocean or something.
We are the
so
entity.
yeah, we're everywhere. Check us out. Please give us a like, a comment, subscribe, share with your fellow friends and film lovers. Give us a number for the Bible study. We're drawing a new one next week, so we're very excited for that. And yeah, another great one in the books.
Drop comments about things, I mean, if you guys have like segment ideas or like a game you want us to do related to these kind of things, like drop a comment. We love to take suggestions from people about everything. Like if you want us to talk about a certain thing, just drop a comment. We'll consider it. Like we love the interactions with people that listen to these episodes. So like make sure you comment, subscribe, like, follow. If you want to send us a message or anything, like absolutely do it. We love talking to you guys. And we appreciate everyone listening.
And
we love you very much.
Yeah. Sorry, Matt Damon. We didn't have enough time for you. We'll get to you next time. Sorry, Matt.
Oh, that's who's under the desk right now, actually.
Shit. Sorry, Matt Damon. We'll get to talk about AI. We'll get to talk AI with you next time. Sorry.
All right. Bye.
Bye.